Welcome back to another episode of the Otter Players Podcast. Episode 32. We're going to talk about everything going on with Black Myth Wukong versus the media, the Nintendo Direct, Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws Woes, and much more. But besides that, let's go ahead and get straight into it. We're running a little bit late, had some technical difficulties, but let's get into it. Morgan, how are you, ma'am, and what have you been playing?
Good. I'm good. Feeling a little tired and lazy today, but I'm good.
I
Um,
understand that.
been playing Star Wars Outlaws for the past week, I guess. So far I'm really liking it. I know there's a lot of negative discourse around this game, but I mean, as per usual, I don't really give a fuck. Um, I know me and I know what I like, and I'm enjoying my time with the game thus far. It's given me that Star Wars feeling that I've been looking for from a Star Wars game. We've had the Jedi series and Star Wars Unleashed, and many games that gave the Jedi feeling, but not many that really gave that Star Wars universe type of feel, like that lived in type world where you're human among humanoid aliens and other beings trying to live their lives, and that's what this game does really well. Like the set pieces, the towns, the people and other life forms that you interact with, and everything like that in this game is just really well done, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being an outlaw, doing contracts for people, whether it's going into a uh like a base full of troopers and stealing some information, or having to contract kill somebody, or like it's just honestly it's just really giving me that Han Solo feeling that I was kind of looking for from a game. So I'm enjoying it um, thus far. So far, I'm about 20 hours in,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't finished. Like I know people have said that, well, maybe not 20 because I did have to start over. Probably like 14, 15 or something like that. But I know many people said they beat it in like 14 to 20 hours, but um,
Oh, they
you
was
know,
definitely
I,
beelining that.
yeah, because I mean, I think a lot of people like kind of just straight went through the mission because a lot of people said they didn't enjoy it, so they were just trying to get it done essentially. Um, but I'm just taking my time with it. Like I'm still kind of on the first planet. Like I finally like flew on my ship and went to space, but I'm still honestly on the first planet really. Um, and just doing the side missions, doing some contracts, messing with the factions and stuff like that. It's just, I'm just taking my time with it and
As you should.
enjoying everything that it has to offer. So I'm enjoying it. Um, but yeah, that's essentially what I've been playing this week.
Cool. No, that's a solid get. I mean, it's a good game. We've been waiting on it for a while, so I'm sure it's nice to finally get into it and
Yeah.
really get to see what it's about after we've been watching it for months and months and months. So, absolutely. Um, Weeb, what have you been playing, sir?
Um, well, a few things. I've also been playing Outlaws, though didn't get to play it a lot since I wasn't home this week. Um, yeah, I fortunately I did check because of the whole thing with the save game and patch thing. But apparently that patch was already available even before the early access, since I got it early, because it said that I installed it like right at the day that I start playing it. So
So you were good.
I guess I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, yeah. Apparently the bug is when you try to leave a planet and then try to come back, you can't land anymore. So
Ah,
pretty
okay.
significant, but. I guess you'll if you've left the planet already and were able to come back, then you're good. Um, yeah, same as Morgan. I'm liking it so far. Also love the entire idea that you can um, yeah, sort of play these factions against each other, and I also love the stealth aspect to it because you're heavily encouraged to use
Yeah.
stealth to sneak into bases, and especially if they're part of the factions, like you don't want to ruin your reputation, but if you just sneak in and nobody sees you, you can just steal their shit and get out without affecting your reputation. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, it's great to finally be able to play a game where you're not, an overpowered Jedi, but yeah,
Facts.
basically the common man, uh, try, trying to survive, doing your hustle. So yeah, pretty good so far. I'll hoping to get some more mileage into it next week. Also played a bit of Star Trek Resurgence, but that's yeah, more like a visual novel or Telltales type game, basically. So it's pretty easy to just do a few missions or a few chapters and then put it back down again. Also played a bit of E7, which is usually my go-to game when I'm not at home and I have my Steam Deck with me. Um, uh, I will try to finish it somewhere this year because it is picking up pace. I think I'm past the midway point where there's like a huge twist and changes everything. If you know East games, it's one of the more classic titles where you have more sort of more top-down perspective. But it has building blocks of layered titles, where you have party members and you have this rock paper scissors system with enemies being vulnerable to different weapon types, and I mean it's always a blast to play. Like you're once you start it, you're immediately hooked into it, and just can't stop playing. So yeah, I'm definitely will try to finish it, but fingers crossed since there's still a lot of games coming this year, and I still have to finish a lot of games this year. So yeah, it's gonna be tight fit, but I'll try. And other than that, I've played the demo of Gory Cutley Carnage, which is actually pretty fun. You can play like the first level with the first boss, and that's sort of where the demo stops. But it's yeah, you play as a cat with a hoverboard, um, and it's pretty funny. You fight zombie unicorns. Apparently the staple enemy, and you basically just are constantly moved because you have a hoverboard and you can use it to attack and do the combos, and it's pretty bloody, which is a pretty cool contrast, and your cat basically doesn't talk. He just meows, and you can meow on command, so that's pretty cool. And all the talking is pretty much done by your hoverboard, which has like there's lots of these sort of jokes, like he, for example, he has like the child friendly mode on or family friendly mode on, so every time he swears it's bleeped. um, uh, and you have like a onboard computer of your ship that gets blown up at the beginning, who's always depressed. So it's pretty fun. So I think I'll pick it up when it's on sale, and then play somewhere in between. And I've also played Akimbot,
Oh,
which I
okay.
know Nelson was really looking forward to. It's pretty much if you've seen the trailer, it's pretty much like a Ratchet and Clank clone. I mean, even the character looks a bit like Ratchet, but they're both robots, and They really don't like each other, at least so far. Um, it's you can definitely see what they're trying to do, and it's a pretty solid game so far. Of course, it doesn't really hold a candle to the real deal. I mean, it is definitely, you can see it's an AA title, doesn't have to sort of the graphical fidelity and sort of depth of, uh, it's well, the thing that it is inspired by. But I can see this being sort of a fun romp that you can do, play in between and just do a couple of missions and then get back. Well, it's not really missions, um, but yeah, I mean it so far it's pretty fun. So I can see why Nelson was excited for this. Yeah, if you like Ratchet and Clank, and then you can't wait for the next one, that is definitely could be sort of a quick fix for you to scratch that itch. And I think that's it. Yeah.
No doubt. Hey man, that's plenty. So
Yep.
lots to play. I didn't know you were picking up a Kimbot, so that's pretty cool. It sounds like that price point they picked was pretty smart,
Yep.
and it's gotten quite a few people to pick it up. I'll have to take another look at it. I mean, it looked interesting when I first took a look at it after he mentioned it, but I didn't really look too much into it. I only watched like gameplay for like 2 minutes or something. But yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. But yeah, it looks like you're playing a lot of good stuff as well. Like you said, even more stuff is on the way, and it's not gonna stop from here. Um, but last but not least, here, Omar, what are you playing this week, sir?
What's up, everyone? Yeah. So, Dragon Age Inquisition. Uh, I never played it, so first time for everything. I played the previous one, Dragon Age 1, and I'm not sure if I finished 2, but I did start 2. Um, Inquisition, it got great gameplay. I'm enjoying it. I'm just waiting until I can have my storage. The game throws so much uh, stuff at you that you you gotta at some point just choose what's best for your build and move on, and just not even think about picking anything up. Otherwise, you are gonna spend way more time going back and forth and selling your items than actually playing the game. But besides that, I'm actually interested in stories. Story starts off strong, and it's yeah. I have absolutely no idea what's happening, so I'm curious how that's going to be. And as always, I'm going with the good guy type of character. I'm actually trying to turn my assassin into a non-assassin, so that's gonna be fun. But besides that, yeah, I started a game called um Black. mm, It's a hard. Oh shit! It's a game from Capcom. No, from EA. The one that's like Monster Hunter, but with almost like a device that shape shift into objects and allows you to what you call it like it become a trampoline, it become a airplane. It's called Wild Heart. Um
Yeah, I was about to say you're talking about Wild Hearts.
yeah. Um I enjoy what I played so far. My biggest option it would be if I need to switch weapons, I need to do that at camp. I'm not sure if that's a Monster Hunter stigma or something like that, but that's just my biggest upset. issue, and the lock-on don't always work. But besides that, I'm loving the game. I'm loving the concept, with especially with the mechanics that you need to absolutely make use of it. It gives you close to a double jump ability. You can actually use it to fly through it a little bit, and it got that Death Stranding, what do you call it? Rope, or rather, not rope. The fucking fast travel with the rope. I forgot what it's called.
Good. So some sort of fast travel system.
Um, I'm actually, yeah. So Henry Heck said, why not it fire?" But I hate that they pulled the plug on so early. Hey, live service games. That's what can happen with them, sadly. But I'm actually surprised that it didn't do well. Cause gameplay, it plays a little bit like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but you're not Monster Hunter. It's kind of like being the Power Rangers, but that's not your name. Like
I
you, that's
get
what
you,
happens.
but that inclusion of that, what you call it, that device should have made it interesting.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
you gotta understand what else was out at the time, what it was competing with. Like there was a lot because like I was interested in the game and I still didn't pick it up, and even when it was free, I still ain't got time to play it. So
yeah,
you gotta factor all that in. It's release window, a bunch of other stuff. I mean, I've seen people playing it, but as I'm kind of personally falling away from Monster Hunter, especially after a lot of people came off of Worlds and then Rise as well. Like Monster Hunter has been like an onslaught constantly lately. So for something to come out and kind of compete with it, it's kind of rough because Monster Hunter fans are just gonna play Monster Hunter regardless.
so they were doomed from the get-go then.
Huh? I mean, sadly, unless you could do something again to kind of stand out
So,
a lot over the other predecessor. I mean, it kind of just looked like more Monster Hunter with a with a gimmick. So
with that twist,
yeah,
so very quick, I played also Mickey Mouse Epic uh, rebrushed demo. Um, Game played well. Uh, I enjoyed the gameplay. I'm not sure if I remember playing the game, but I love games like this that give you a brush ability, a la Okami, and now with this, but with this one, it's way less limited. It's just one color make it clear and the other make it unclear. But I enjoyed from what I played. Also, this game, it's called Crypt Custodian. It's a demo. The game's already out and it's $5 less. This game you basically play as a dead cat that becomes a janitor for hell. It's hilarious, but it got good combat. I enjoy what I played so far. I actually beat the first boss, and I'm looking forward to playing this game at some point. I genuinely had a blast with it. But yeah, that's about it for me.
that's what's up. Yeah, I know the Epic Mickey or whatever was a really big hit when it originally came out. So I'm sure a lot of other people are also looking forward to it or played the demo as well. It wasn't one that I got into, but like I said, I know it was a really big game when it came out and it scored really, really well. Um, as for me, I've been playing still Black Myth Wukong. Trying to finish it up. The game honestly just keeps getting better. Um, there's so much to this game. The game is so large. The world is uh, just massive as you go through different chapters and environments and kind of learning the story and getting to meet a lot of the gods and different deities and so on and so forth that are in the world, and just kind of all the politics that happen between the gods within the story. It's been a lot of fun. I decided to push through my playthrough on PC, so I've been concentrating through on that because it just the fluidity with the motion and stuff like that, and just feels a little more responsive. I know Morgan was telling me that Digital Foundry said there was some sort of input lag on the PS5 performance mode. Personally, I haven't really felt like I ran into that. It just feels like the higher fidelity, being able to max it out and still get 90 plus FPS, just seems to really give a more fluid
Rude.
experience. I mean, I'm just saying. There's a lot going on the screen when you're fighting some of these monsters. So being able to see something a little more clear, or whatnot, really seems to help a lot. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it thoroughly. I definitely got my gripes with it. We talked about one right before we went live. There's no map. That drives me crazy because there is a ton of stuff in this game that you can miss, and it would be a lot easier to make sure you didn't miss an area or tell if a place was like an off beaten path if you had a map. So you could go towards some of these things. Like, there is a ton of hidden stuff, and honestly, I imagine most people who have beaten it by now missed, I'd probably say 40 to 45% of the content, as far as like weapons, side gods and stuff, and
What?
bosses. Yeah, it's a lot.
To this degree?
Yes, the game is massive. You'll understand when you play it, but I mean,
Don't get him hyped, because he not gonna shut up until he find this damn game.
No, I've given up on it.
But yeah, no, it's like I said, there's a massive amount of stuff that's just off the beaten path, and there's no way to really tell whether you went off the beaten path or you're proceeding to the main until afterwards. I mean, you can always go back. I mean, that's the good thing about it. But again, like, I'm constantly checking out videos from content creators that are like, "Oh, this weapon does this, and if you go over here and talk to this person 3 times and do this and this, you gain this super weapon, and then you also do this." And it's just, I mean, it's a lot, and I wish there was just it was better laid out so that people, if you wanted to do the optional content, there was a better way that it was pointed out so that a lot of people are not missing a ton of this content like that. Like I said, it's kind of frustrating. Like I said, I know for a fact that I've seen some people that beat it, a couple days ago. And I'm like, there's no way, like, they ran through it in the same time frame that we've had the game, which is day one, and didn't miss a ton of this content. There's just no way. Like, tons and tons of secret areas. One of the areas that I'm aware of that gives you access to like all the people who upgrade your equipment and stuff like that. I don't even know why that's a secret. That should just be something that eventually unlocks. Like, you have to do some crazy thing just to get that to unlock. So it's just like, oh no, I feel like they tried overly hard to hide like a bunch of stuff, and it's just like, man, like, some of this stuff really needs to be like on the straight path. Like, you're missing way too many benefits. But yeah, like I said, besides that, I'm still really enjoying it. The environmental design in this game is phenomenal. Like, you just feel everywhere you go is so grandiose, different. You go through so many different environments and temples, and like, it's just, honestly, the artwork and stuff that they've done with some of these places is just insane. And you're just like, oh, this is just one area that I'm walking through, and then once I'm done, I'll never see it again. Like, I don't know how they designed as much as they did, and really the intricacies with all the statues and different things going on is honestly really, really impressive. Like I said, the game is just beautiful, including on PS5. Like, so a lot of people keep saying like, oh, it's unplayable on PS5. I keep seeing that for some reason, and I'm like, yeah, that's a lie. So yeah, the game still plays great on PS5 as well. I'm also playing Star Wars Outlaws, which again, I haven't gotten as far because I'm really trying to concentrate on beating something, which since I'm so much further in Black Myth Wukong, I'm really trying to finish that first. But what I have played of Star Wars Outlaws has been really good. I could definitely feel what Morgan was saying. We kind of had the same idea. Like, you really feel like you're playing in the Star Wars universe for once, as opposed to like the Jedi Survivor, where the worlds are kind of empty and you're fighting aliens a lot of the time and this and that. This is just like you really feel like you're in the cantinas and you know with the rest of the outlaws and really getting to see the other side of that universe. Very Han Solo type thing. Um, Nyx is really awesome as well, which everybody has seen him. Her little cute pet sidekick that's always with her. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not that far, but what I've played is just phenomenal. The sense of speed on the speeder is really, really well done. Uh, it's surprisingly so for something that's not like a racing game or something. Usually that's a really hard thing for developers to kind of translate, but they've done a really good job. Like everything, when you're just playing and it's all in motion, it all just looks really, really good. And a lot of characters and side characters, just everything just feels really believable, and you really feel immersed in the world. And for me, for that type of game, that's important. And like we mentioned earlier about the stealth, uh, I I'm the same way. I like that kind of stuff. Uh, so that's not a turn off for me. I know some people felt like it was a little too stealthy for what they were looking for. They wanted maybe a little more action, which you can definitely go action, but you can go loud in a lot of stuff. But I mean, there's consequences for your actions in the game. So yeah, you got to decide what you really want to get done. Um, but yeah, for the most part, that's what I've been playing. Also plan to play the Black Ops 6 beta to try it. I'm sure that will last all of about 10 minutes based on the footage that I've seen and the fact that people are cheating in the beta already. Uh, and then um, I also picked up Vampire Survivor for PlayStation. I've played it before though, but I really enjoyed the game, so I wanted to pick it up for PlayStation as well when it came out. It was only like $11 or something for the game and all of its DLC. So yeah, playing that as well as going back to Ni no Kuni, the original, as I never really finished it on the PS3. Just kind of making my way slowly through that as well. But again, so many games to play. And then obviously we've got Astrobot coming up very shortly. I've also pre-ordered 40K Space Marine 2. So honestly, it's just crazy out here. But no shortage of games for any of us to play, including some of the people out in the audience. I'm sure they're playing some of these games as well. Um, but yeah, real quick, what's up with to Henry, C Fresh, C Viper came through in the chat. Where I wanna, it's good to see everybody. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into our first topic. So as you can see, the thumbnail, Black Myth Wukong has been a heavy game, coming out to amazing levels of success. But with that has come a lot of scrutiny from some people. Um, Essentially, Black Myth Wukong versus some of the gaming media outlets, and their need to what seems to be belittle the game's success and what the game has achieved, not only monetarily and sales wise, but also just the game itself. Going on and going as far as to call the game mediocre or average or below average. Yeah, I honestly don't don't really get it. You've got companies, you've got not companies, but some of the quote unquote games media out here still calling the studio liars as it pertains to them working, to get the Xbox port working, despite them releasing, a full on statement already stating what the issue is and what's going on. And honestly, just more examples of honestly Xbox people not wanting to face the music about as the games get more and more demanding, the difficulties that these studios are going to have putting these more demanding games on the Series S. It's an issue. We stated it was an issue early on. We all recognized the issue the moment the Series S was shown. when it was touted as the 1440p beast, as so many YouTubers and tech YouTubers called it when it came out. So yeah, I mean, lots of difficulties, like I say, going on with that as well. But the team does seem to be hard at work on that. Um, but yeah, like I said, the other stuff going on with it is just really weird. It seems really uncalled for. But I know Weeb in particular wanted to talk about it. So yeah, we'll start with Weeb first.
All right. Thank you, Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you mentioned, there is a lot of controversy going around with Wukong, and I agree with you. A lot of it's uncalled for. Um, well, let's say there say two things. One is, of course, the thing with there being no Series X or Series version,
Mm-hmm.
Xbox version of the game, and people are trying very hard to blame the developer for that, and not, the fact that Xbox, as we've been telling them, as these developers have been telling them, have screwed themselves and have screwed everybody with this two-tier approach, and now we're paying the bill for that.
Mm-hmm.
And look, yeah, sure, it's their first game. They're not as experienced as and don't have the resources as a AAA developer or publisher has. So of course you're going to run into these kind of issues. But what we now seem to know what's really going on is the only thing that happened between Sony and Game Science is that Sony supported him, including paying them money to make sure that there was going to be a PS5 port, right? So not to make it exclusive. I mean, the ones who paid for that is Xbox to make it exclusive for PlayStation by releasing the Series S. But by making sure that there was going to be a console version, because they were initially not planning that, they were going to focus on PC, and
Mm-hmm.
Sony didn't want to lose out on that. As gamers, we should obviously appreciate that you're going to be able to experience that game, and considering the success of it, I think Sony absolutely made a incredibly smart move there, because this is letting them break through in the console market, which was pretty much non-existent in China.
Yeah.
And this is going to break new grounds. This is going to open up, new markets, which is, of course, is great for if you're living in China, but obviously also for us all, because then we getting rid of that stupid argument that no, there is no there's no way to grow anymore in this market, and that we somehow have to monetize or get rid of exclusives or whatever, the with existing gamer base, but also gives us great games that of course, you have no shortage of games, but more is always better, of course.
Absolutely.
That we wouldn't be getting otherwise. I mean, the same extent with how they're doing it with South Korea, with Stellar Blade, which you wouldn't have gotten, if Sony didn't help out the developer and basically funded the development of that game. And they're doing great things, India, the Middle East. So there's potentially a lot of great games coming. And like I said before, in the last podcast, part of it is probably also a way of reducing development costs, in the sense that if there's more markets or more industries, then you don't just have to produce everything, in the West or in Japan. You have more options and can therefore reduce costs, or at least get games that are developed at a fraction of that cost. But that part of it, is obviously salty Xbox fanboys, including journalists who are pretending to be journalists, but basically are just Xbox fanboys. Talk about you, Paul Tassi, because you're an absolute buffoon. if you're releasing a statement deliberately misleading people into thinking it was a deal, which makes no fucking sense, because why the hell would you make an exclusivity deal and then not tell people about it, not advertise it with, hey, exclusive for PlayStation 5? Like, that would be insane. And I know some people have been trying to use semantics like, oh yeah, but it's a marketing, right? So they're separate from exclusivity, right? Like, come on, don't try to pretend that we're in kindergarten. We know what the difference is, but you're not gonna pay millions of dollars for an unknown game, unknown developer for marketing rights. Like, if you're an unknown developer, you're gonna you would be incredibly grateful if anybody paid you any attention. You're not gonna charge them through the nose to be able to do marketing, right? So that makes no sense whatsoever. And I think we have heard enough about this that we can easily debunk this, and this would never have been an issue if the game was on Xbox. They would never try to downplay it the way they're doing it, at least from that angle. But there's, of course, another angle, there's other controversies going on, because they're not just trying to accuse them of making some sort of deal or Sony's money having Wukong. Now they're also trying to downplay success by arguing, there was a journalist from, I think she was from freelance, or at least wrote bylines for IGN, for what I saw from bio for the New York Times, and she was trying to make the argument that the reason why it was successful was largely due to gamer gators and Chinese nationalists. Now, I do wonder what a Chinese nationalist is supposed to be, because I cannot really imagine anybody in China, well, openly criticizing their government. I mean, let's face it. It obviously, there's only one party in China, and so there is not going to be any political discourse there, or any disagreement. So that's something we will we can't deny, but it's crazy to somehow frame the success of this game as being a far right conspiracy, especially since we've always heard that these what they were calling gamer gators, or I think they're the anti SJWs, the anti woke mob, neckbeards, whatever you want to call them, that they're a fringe minority, and they are, and those who are trying to somehow clamor Wukong as a victory of the strike against wokeness or whatever. Um, these people don't buy games, so let's not pretend that these are actual people who care and actually are contributing to the success of the game. They just want to get clicks. They just want to farm engagement. So they are irrelevant to the conversation about whether what explains the success of Wukong. But it's crazy to see statements like that, and I saw some responses to her, and eventually said, yeah, it's an opinion piece, so she can just basically say whatever fuck she wants. That's basically her entire argument. And the thing is, when I see this, like, part of that obviously is because there are like people like Paul Tassi, who are basically just very very openly Xbox fanboys and will use whatever they can, and probably a lot of them are not just fans, but are very calculative in the sense that they're doing this because they know that this will gain them the most tractions, most clicks, because they know that Xbox fanboys, despite being a smaller fan base in terms of people just look at the consoles sold, that they're far more cohesive and will easily flock to your channel or whatever you're advertising. and get your ad revenue and stuff like that. So we know it's a grift. It's a hustle, whatever you want to call it. And look, if that's what you how you want to survive, that's fine for you. But I do think it's disgusting if you doing this knowing that there's also another group of people or another narrative that's followed, and there's two aspects to it. One, it's definitely what is called racism, and that's not just me, just saying that because I feel like it. Like, it's a fact that there used to be a lot of racism towards Japanese developers. We know this, and it's not just us saying that. The Japanese developers were very much aware of that. Yoshi P also said that we had that discussion in one of the previous podcasts about that he didn't like the term JRPG because that was used to, I think, it was basically designed to sort of separate RPGs made by Japanese developers as being something inferior, right? And they were right because that was the treatment they received from the industry, from Western games media, and that shifted at a certain point. I've still seen some attempts being made, but usually they're going to use the sexism argument, right? That character design of women in Japanese games are a bit more sexist than there are in the West, which is pretty ludicrous because it's really comparing apples and oranges, and very often not even true, and there's definitely some double standards there. But see, context is important. Sure, yeah, Japan still has probably a bit more work to do in terms of that department, and sort of the equality men and women, but and it context is key, right? It's king, because a game like Bayonetta, people have, some probably still do, but most people have accepted that now because it's the character is a confident woman. She's sexy, yes, but and also designed by a woman, by the way, but there is no issue with portraying a character as being sexy, as long as a context is there, that it's not just there, to please a male character, or just being eye candy and having no substance whatsoever, right? It's pretty, there's nuance, but it's also pretty straightforward there, where you can just you can just across the board make a statement like that. But the shift, what I'm seeing, we saw it with Stellar Blade. There's definitely quite a sinister undertone there. It's not about sexism. It's definitely, because we've talked about it before. There's definitely a double standard there, but the double standard is definitely rooted in racism. That it shifts now. We have some acceptance now of Japanese developers. But they've moved on. Now we're seeing that Korea is emerging, or South Korea is emerging as a possibly development powerhouse. China is now emerging. We're going to get the same thing when India's get if that's going to get their the gaming industry up running. If they're going to get a big hit, that's going to boost that industry there. The same with the initiative in the Middle East. We're going to get this exact same thing there. Mark my words, that's going to happen there, and it's rooted in, I'm sorry to say, racism, and that's something that the gaming industry, and especially games media, has to contend with, because that's something that's really still a present thing that is sickening, but definitely that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. I mean, China in particular, because there's obviously another reason there is because, and yeah, when we talk about keeping politics out of gaming, this is how politics gets into gaming, because this is an overall narrative, because China is obviously a competing, emerging world power. There's currently a lot of going on with potentially a trade war. There is a lot of sort of higher level threats being made, and so the thing is, China is threatening the hegemony of of the West, right? Of America, of its European allies. Um, that's the status quo they want to keep,
Yeah.
and obviously, and look, it's not like it's an open secret, right? It's not like this is any conspiracy theory shit. This is just how it works, right? We had thing with the Cold War. There Soviet Union was the enemy, and there's going to be propaganda, from both sides, right? But this very clearly, part of that is very clearly um, riding that sort of that propaganda train, right? Because the thing is, if um, you know, Western media typically, of course, have there's freedom, right? We have a free press, but there are still boundaries towards this freedom because, yeah, you can basically, report on anything you want, but if you don't stick to the narrative, if you don't, you know, stay in your lane, right? Then you still have to think about your career because that can be very difficult if you're not, you know, keeping the story straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and that's what's happening here. And the thing is, it is a bit sad to see that game journalists, because let's be honest, um, I know they're trying really hard to be seen as legitimate journalists, but it's never going to happen because the reality is that they're reporting on an entertainment. They're essentially no different from the Hollywood press, whatever, right? And sure,
Yeah.
you can have your insiders, you have your background, you know the industry, so obviously you have value, but don't pretend to be something that you're not. Don't think that you're suddenly an investigative journalist that's reporting on global affairs. The thing is, they do want to be that. You've seen some of these attempts being made, often very clumsily because they don't really have a journalistic background. At least not most of them. There are a few exceptions, like Jason Schreier, though he is also not beyond reproach because I remember him um, also being on that anti-Japanese train not that long ago. We also had some very scathing remarks about Japanese developers. So I don't think that he's is much better, but at least he knows what he's doing in terms of actually doing some reporting.
Agreed.
And that's what a lot of, I mean, you can be a game journalist, like you can get into this if you have a YouTube channel or a website. A lot of people are actually recruited from just having a YouTube channel, whatever, and then get a job at IGN. Like it's not that, well, let's say hard, but it is certainly possible, right? You don't necessarily have to have a degree or anything to make it. And it's not doesn't necessarily have to be because it's not like we're talking about sending a correspondent to to a war-torn country. You're reporting on what we do for fun in their free time, right? But the thing is that they're trying. There are definitely some people who are trying to be getting more legitimized and getting their career off the ground or whatever. And that's when you see stuff like this happen, that they're trying to tie this back into the overall propaganda machine that the mainstream media is reporting on or is propagating, and they want to tie that back to gaming, right? Because that's basically it, right? They somehow see this as a way to sabotage the Chinese game development industry before it even gets off the ground, I guess, which is incredibly silly to think about it. But on the other hand, this is also quite sinister and quite damning. It's obviously disgusting that you're doing this from either racist or propagandist perspectives, but it it there's obviously stuff like that does in some level work and some level will feed certain subsection of the gaming community, and yeah, you will see, obviously it might impact, success of games of being able to compete, but it might also result in a lot of, these very racist subsections which might boycott, games just because they're made in a certain country, and not for any good reasons, but basically for this. And then, obviously there will be probably the same game journalists will report on that, talking about how racist the gaming community is because it's not because you just told them to be racist, right? Yeah, so yeah, I'm sorry for maybe the long rant, but this kind of irked me when I saw that. And there's something like media literacy, right? Like when you see this, when you follow this for a long time, you see, where what say you have to read between the lines, so you see what actually is going on here. And it's a sad thing to see. And like I said, this is, if you're talking about politics and gaming, like this is what actual politics and gaming looks like. This is trying to use gaming for, a global agenda, strategy between countries that shouldn't really be any of our concern. But it does, as you see, affects us. And like I said, there are multiple reasons. Obviously, there like I said, the fanboys. There obviously some racism involved, and probably some people who generally believe what they're doing is the right thing. Though I'd say these are probably the vast minority, and mostly it's one of those three. Yeah, look, I don't really have a horse in this race. Like I'm not a fan of Black Myth Wukong. I haven't played it. Might play at some point, but right now my gaming schedule is way too full to fit it in. It's not too that high on my priority list. But I just can't stand behind and abide by like this bullshit. Like if I see it, and I'm just gonna call it out. And I have been calling it out on Twitter. I will keep calling it out because, look, you know me. I'm probably one of the most radical left persons you have in your follower base. But like I call out all injustice and bullshit I see in the world. But when I see this kind of crap that they're trying to weaponize, diversity or whatever, for this kind of bullshit, like you're not gonna be a fucking racist and then virtue signal me or try to use dog whistles or whatever. Like that's not gonna fly. So and that's, it's my 2 cents, but that's basically what's going on. And yeah, we should definitely call this bullshit out and not be deceived by the crap they're trying to pull over us. If you want to enjoy the game, obviously you should do that, but definitely be wary of this kind of bullshit, because this could, of course, result in the same thing that happened with Japanese developers. That they felt for a long time being treated correctly so, with racist intent from not being taken seriously by the games media, treated unfairly by their peers in the Western game industry. And that same shit is happening now, with other countries in that region that are emerging, and will happen with any other region that's not, the traditional areas where game developers are. And that's something we have to be aware of. That's the thing. As enlightened we think we are, that's still happening. And just, like I said, be aware of that and call it the bullshit when you see it.
No doubt.
Question: do you think if Wukong sold like 2 mil, 3 mil max, we would have seen less of this?
Definitely see. We would still see it, but it's only really worth talking about because the game is such a success, right? If it like 2 mil would still be quite successful for a game because it would probably still make a profit considering that wouldn't have a budget running in the tens of millions like most AAA games would. But definitely you would see less of it because it's not interest. Like it would basically like if the game, let's say the game failed, like in 2 million of failure, but let's say it sold like in the tens of thousands or something, like really poorly. Like nobody, like they would probably just do something like haha, see, and that's it. They wouldn't really pay much attention to it. But now they're doing that, because of the success. Like if the game, to the same extent, Xbox fanboys wouldn't be crying about if the game wasn't a success because nobody cares, right? So yeah, to answer your question, you would see less of it, definitely.
Interesting comes to me, but it seems one clearly jealousy, because this is a brand new studio, unknown developers, and um, so far shattering all type of numbers, like it destroyed Hogwarts, destroyed Elden Ring, destroyed so many games at launch. I'm not talking end game level, but at launch. And they can't stand that. And especially because it's from China, their quote unquote worst enemy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, countries can get away with murder. But when it
Yeah.
comes to China, if you mention one thing support for them, they're gonna villainize you.
Yeah, I mean yeah, and like that's what I said. That there's that's also why you know you can have a free press, but same extent you're not free to deviate from that line that China is the enemy, and therefore you're not allowed to uh, basically nuance that to the extent okay, yeah, but uh, like do we know the things that are being said are true? There's definitely a lot of things that are going on there that are not okay. I mean, look at the situation to Uyghurs. Like there's definitely a cultural genocide taking place there. So they're not saying that they're the good guys in the equation, but that doesn't mean that we, as I don't know we, but our leaders of our countries somehow can pretend that they are, the nice and shining armor, that they're the good guys. Because I mean, we see now what's happening in the world, with the happening in Gaza. Like it's horrible what's happening there, and we're all our leaders are complicit in that because they keep turning a blind eye to that and keep supplying the weapons. So we definitely sort of lost the moral high ground there. You can see that I'm definitely a radical leftist in that regard. So if trust me, if I need to say that somebody using identity politics or gender politics in a way to further an agenda, um, trust me that's true, because I wouldn't otherwise say it like that, because I would definitely be on the side of the repressed group. Like the same extent, I know that there was some, I think, and I wasn't sure what it was again, but they sort of released something regarding that when discussing the game, don't talk about politics and feminism and stuff like that. I think the politics part is pretty much obvious because, well, like I said, it's a one party system, so obviously there is no much discussion about politics. But the other stuff, the feminism thing, is I think that definitely was like a provoked reaction because people were complaining about the lack of women in the game, even though I'm not like you played the
Which
game,
if
so
you played the game
There's
further
multiple women
than
in the game,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
exactly. So
far.
chapter. So
I
this by definition showed you the person that reviewed the game didn't even beat the game.
Well,
Because
or deliberately lied about it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that as well.
absolutely. Yeah, when I saw that, it sounds so ridiculous. Even if that were the case, right? It's a game where you play as a monkey, right? Like the monkey god. Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they could have made an entire game where there would be no human character in it, and it would be fine, right?
it's
Exactly.
it's them if you do, them if you don't. Remember with Stellar Blade, like they lied and said it's censored. Like you
Yeah,
can't win either way.
yeah, but and like I said, there's absolutely a lot of stupid going around, like the people who were complaining about the censorship. But there's also this is sort of where you, like I said, you need to develop some media literacy skills where you can see the difference between somebody who's just saying dumb things because they are, you know, just thinking stupid things, and people who are doing that knowing full well what they're doing, and at best they are just trying to generate outrage or whatever to draw traffic to their website or whatever, right? Because there's no good or bad clicks. Like, if people go to your website and read your article just to shit on it, that's still a fucking click. Like, it doesn't matter. But there's also at worst, there's definitely the more sinister thing is that they're racist motivations, or trying to further a political agenda, that's like an actual political agenda, regarding geopolitics, and that's sort of the thing that you need to be wary for, because it sure, if a lot of people say stupid things, that can also gain traction, but on the other hand, like, you should be very careful about the people who are deliberately trying to steer a conversation in a particular direction that's not a particularly good direction, but rather one either out of hate or out of political considerations, which, yeah, doesn't really help us as gamers, not as humanity, I suppose, but also not as gamers, because in the end, what this will do is trying to discourage basically either people from supporting, games, in this case from made from China, or which I guess could also be, maybe that could be maybe a very extreme position, but could also be obviously that there might be some degree of journalists that have stakes with a particular, say, the Western gaming industry, whatever, and think, okay, we don't really want to see competition. That's also a possibility, but I'd say mostly it's they're self-serving, in the sense that either they have a particular racial bias, or they have uh, or they indeed think that, oh yeah, we want to be just like our big brothers in the mainstream media, and try to also hold that line, follow that line, regarding this case China. um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, if you see this, what you need to be aware of is that this is happening, and just try to avoid falling in that pitfall, and being used by them as a pawn in that game, because it's a very sick game.
If you think you already mentioned it a bit, but I need to reiterate it. If you think China is bad, wait until it's Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, we can see, yeah, we both,
It's gonna
but
be so much worse.
I mean,
yeah,
potentially, but that's a whole nother conversation.
yeah.
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 Well, depends on the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's just too much shit to go through right now.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. The Middle East is a lot of things in a lot of places,
Yeah,
so yeah. I don't even want to contemplate it right now.
yeah,
I get
but
you. We
no.
have enough land for one area, but yeah, it it's absolutely insane.
Mhm.
I it I genuinely think it shot jealousy. if it didn't do, if like it sold 1 million copy, they wouldn't have started talking about it. But because it keeps breaking numbers, they're just upset and they're trying to, take it down.
I mean, attention is
Like,
always a factor.
but it also shows you that these people don't play games. They don't care about gaming in general. They're just in it to kill it,
Oh,
basically.
they're playing games, but not the games that we are playing, fortunately.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of this, like we've said, essentially you have to develop your own uh, media literacy and understand the differences between who's reporting, the facts, and actually, about gaming and the stuff that you want to focus on, and who's reporting certain things for other ideologies and other issues that they have, or their personal preferences, rather than focusing on the game itself. And moral of the story ultimately that I find out of this is make a good game and you'll push through anything, because
I
gamers at the end
mean,
of the day do not care.
Yep.
we've seen it with Hogwarts, yeah? That's another game that got boycotted.
Exactly.
And
Well, well, yeah. Just to be clear, you did mention that. Like I said, Hogwarts is probably the sort of the people who were trying to cancel it were generally just about the thing with the author of the books, J.K. Rowling, right? So, and that didn't work obviously because we seen how successful the game was, but there was. I do want to say there is obviously a difference between actually um, wanting and obviously don't go after people who like you guys you bought the game, you enjoyed, like if you're fans, like you don't have to attack people for that, or put labels on them just because of that. But like if people are just suggesting or not buying the game, or suggesting to not buy the game because of that, like I think you're basically coming at it from the right place, but maybe not necessarily going at it the right way. But that's very different than coming at it from the wrong place, like they're doing now with Wukong. Because
Yeah, I
I
agree.
do want to say there's a nuance there. There's a difference in intention, and obviously like um, the scale is very different there, because that's generally just a if even if it were all gaming is doing that, that was basically just being yeah, what we call woke, right? Basically just being arguing from the right place. Mostly some might obviously use it for their own benefit, um, but this is this is really something that's coming from much more, yeah, darker place, right? And in that sense, like the Xbox fanboys are, well, I still say you're equally culpable, because if you're if you're call yourself a journalist, uh, what what you're basically doing, and who you're associating with by doing this. You're using the overall racism and political agendas to further your basically the agenda of your preferred console, right? Your fanboyism. If you're doing that knowingly, so you're that sounds still culpable. But at the very least, like I can have uh, you can laugh at those people who are just crying about because they're not getting the game, but it's no laughing matter about the people who are doing this because of their deep-seated racism, or because they follow a very sinister propaganda line, right? So just want to get that there. I understand why you're bringing it up, but there's definitely a difference here in terms of where this is coming from.
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
and
All right,
for
hold on.
Wukong, yeah,
We gotta get through this. It's taking. So Morgan, your thoughts?
Yeah, we pretty much said everything. I agree with his points. You know, this is essentially a lot of this has to do with racism and the expanding of China in the gaming market. Like we've said, we kind of saw it with JRPGs. It's funny because we recently saw some. I don't know if you guys been looking at Twitter, seeing the old videos resurface from what was that gaming media show back in the day?
Are you talking about G4?
About just yeah,
Oh yeah,
just the
yeah. They were
outrageous,
bad.
outrageously racist remarks they were making against JRPGs and Japanese games in general, and it just seems like how we're going a full circle here. Um, yeah, let's just like the remarks are just wild to me because you'll see people, they posted the numbers for Steam and though them breaking records. They posted the number for the sales, the millions of sales, and then people dismiss it by saying, uh, "Well, it's mostly Chinese gamers," and I'm just like,
Yeah.
Are Chinese not people? Like, why are we putting them in like a separate category as if they don't count? Like, oh, it's just Chinese gamers. Like, is China not a country? Is it not full of people? Like, why does that matter where the gamers are buying or purchasing the game? That makes no difference, regardless of whether they're Chinese, American, British, like Swedish. It doesn't matter. They're gamers and they're playing a game. And then to also go further and state that, oh, it's not really gamers, it's Gamergate, and it's Chinese national. Like, it's just what? Where are you getting these ideas from? Like, why would they care about this game and make it successful? Like, it honestly, it's insane to me that these are the rhetorics that are coming out of this instead of us celebrating a good game that's come out and been successful, and a new market that's opening up, and potential new partnerships and things. We're getting the Phantom Blade from them next. It's like we should be excited that we're getting more developers making more games for us, and instead of celebrating that, we're focusing on, oh, it's China, so it's bad. Like, I don't. It's stupid. It's like we've said, it's irresponsible on the part of the journalists, and it's insane to me. And now, we're essentially calling those devs liars now about the whole PlayStation and Xbox situation when it comes to the exclusivity. And I agree with Weeb. I think it was more of because the consensus now is like, oh, PlayStation did pay for exclusivity. Oh no, they didn't. Oh yes, they did. Blah blah blah. It's a back and forth kind of thing, rhetoric going on. And I agree with Weeb. I think it's more of PlayStation just went to them and made sure that, hey, like, we understand this is UE5, this is a very complex game, this is going to be taking a lot, and they just gave them money to, like, hey, can you prioritize our console so that we can make sure that we get this game out on our console on time for release? I think that's what it was. I don't think it was any kind of keep it off of Xbox type of shit that these journalists and Xbox gamers are thinking it was. I think it was more of, can you help make sure that this game gets out on time on our platform? Because unlike Xbox, PlayStation realizes the importance of getting, their brand and their console and putting it out there in such a heavy market. And we see that was a good idea because obviously, as we've seen on the reports, PS5s are selling out in China. They made sure to strategically put this console on sale in that region at the same time of the release of the game, so that, hey, maybe people who can't or don't have a PC or can't afford a PC, okay, but here's another console you can play it on, PS5. There it is. It's on sale. Pick it up. So it's like, I think PlayStation was just smart, business smart, and people want to get mad at them because they're, propping up their business and doing what they have to do to branch out in upcoming markets such as China, which is a huge market to be into when it comes to gaming.
Market.
Like, and they were just smart. They just went to them. Hey, can you, like, they probably gave them money to prioritize. Can you make sure this port comes out? We understand it probably won't be, 100%, but, we would really like it if this game came out at launch on our product. Like, I don't think they were thinking about Xbox when they did this. This was just a marketing. This was just business to make sure that their game, I mean, not their game, but their console was ready for this game, and that, I think they knew this was going to be that game that kind of broke out. Like, this was going to be that breakout hit for China, because PlayStation is really good at sniffing out a hit. Like, that's one thing that PlayStation gets right. Like they are
Absolutely.
amazing at finding those thirds in second party games that always just trend and sell and do great. Like we've seen it all the time, especially when Shinobi's on it. When he loves a game, everybody usually loves the game. He has like every game that I've seen him recommend and I've played, I've absolutely loved. I don't think there's ever been a game that I've seen him be like excited about that I didn't enjoy. And he has that ability with the games, and I think he realized the potential for this game and was just like, PlayStation, y'all, we got to get on this. We have to be on the ground floor when this game launches because this is going to be it. You said what?
Did he advertise it?
Did he advertise it? What do you mean?
Yeah, like showcase it on his account or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think he did tweet about it. Yeah, I remember him tweeting about it before it came out. But I was confused. You said advertise it. I was like, oh.
But advertise it, I mean, in sense
like
of
just tweet about
letting people know, pick it up. This is a great game, something like that. But I get you.
Yeah. But yeah, PlayStation is just really good at finding those games, and I think they just knew that this was going to be a hit, and so they wanted to get in on the ground floor on it, and so they just got Game Science. They came to them and wanted their console to be a priority. Like, please, when you launch this game, please have it ready for our console.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why these conflicting reports are happening.
Exactly.
Because even with the Paul Tassie's report. Even with Paul Tassie's report, he claims he doesn't know the specifics of the actual deal. He just says, oh, there's some kind of exclusivity. I don't really know. It's kind of weird. He can't give a definitive on what exactly it is. And then there's other reports saying, oh, no, there's no exclusivity deal. So I think it's just like these two sides like merging together, and they don't actually know what the truth is. And like I said, I think the truth is there was never an actual exclusivity deal. There was just a prioritization to put it on PS5. That's really what it was. And via PlayStation coming to them and asking them to, prioritize it and get this on their console platform. I don't think they ever said, don't get it on Xbox. Like, don't put it on that platform. I don't think that was ever part of the conversation. I think the conversation just revolved around, can you get this on our platform on launch day? I think that was what the conversation that happened with Game Science. And that's why there's so many conflicting reports going on right now. But in any case, it honestly doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the reason why, because at the end of the day, it's up to the platform holders to make sure that these games come out on their platform.
Precisely.
So honestly, that's on Xbox for not doing what they had to do to get this to come on their platform, regardless of whether it's a exclusivity deal or it's a Series S issue, which probably is, or whatever. Like that lies on Xbox. If they had the foresight like PlayStation did to see that this was going to be an upcoming hit, I feel like maybe they would have sent a team out there to help Game Science get this out on their platform. I mean, because we see what they do when they realize the game is a hit and they rush to get it out. Like we saw with Baldur's Gate 3, when the game couldn't come out on their platform because of the parity clause, because co-op wasn't working on Series S. Phil sent a team out there. He made sure to tell them, don't even worry about it. Like, we'll drop the parity clause for this, so this big hit of a game that ended up being Game of the Year, for last year, was able to come out. And so we see what happens when they actually care to send a team and get things done. They can get it out on their platform. So it just seems to me Xbox didn't prioritize this game. They because the Xbox logo wasn't on this game the last showing of it before it came out. Well, it was like a month or two before it came out. So they should have known at that point, and I'm sure they did, that it wasn't going to be coming out on their platform, and yet they didn't send a team down there or do anything before the game launched to see what the situation was, right? So, again, that's on them.
Question for you. Why do you think they're not willing to admit that it's a Baldur's Gate situation, like Baldur's Gate. Why insinuate that PlayStation paid a deal? And I'm not talking about
You're
Paltalski.
talking about Xbox.
Yeah, I'm talking about Xbox representatives themselves. Are they too ashamed to admit another game can't handle the Series S parity clause?
No, like again, I don't think it's an exclusivity deal. I just think PlayStation.
I know
No,
it's
no,
not.
no.
But why do you
I know.
think Xbox?
I'm
Yeah,
explaining
go ahead.
why they said it. Like I said, I don't think it's an exclusivity deal. I think PlayStation just gave Game Science some money to prioritize theirs, and because of that, that's the excuse that Xbox is using. Like, okay, well, Game Science is now prioritizing the PS5 port, so they won't work on ours at the time. And so they frame that as, oh, well, it's kind of an exclusivity because they're exclusively working on the PS5 port, so they won't be working on ours right now. And that's kind of how they framed it. Um, that was kind of, kind of sly for Xbox to frame it that way, to be like, oh yeah, it's well, we can't really speak on exclusivity contracts made by our partners, so like
Yeah, and then they just
they
took that
definitely
and ran with
made
that.
they definitely intentionally, that was a very intentional quote that they wanted to put out there, to put uh that assertion out there that there was an exclusivity deal between Game Science and PlayStation, right? It's like, well, we can't really speak on that kind of thing, but because they didn't want anybody to be blaming the Xbox and the Series S for it, so they framed it as it's a exclusivity thing. And I think two things can be true at once. Like, I think the reason Game Science also decided to prioritize the PlayStation is because it's only one SKU. And it does take a lot longer to, as we know from many developers have said, to develop for the Xbox, right? Especially because it is a 2 SKU console. And because it is a 2 SKU console, and because they are a smaller team, I think the decision to prioritize PS5 was, they did it, one, because PlayStation asked, and two, because it made more sense for their team to do that anyway. Like, yeah, I mean, we might as well, because it's a lot easier to develop for the PS5 than it is for the Xbox. And so because of that, Xbox is getting put into the back of the line essentially, until I'm guessing until they can get the PC and PS5 ports up to at least up to snuff, like just to be decent enough. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a variety of factors.
Exactly. It's not
I
just
think
one
it's
thing.
It makes you
it's not
question if
just
they
one
can
thing.
people or no.
What, Xbox?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure after they saw the numbers and how well it was doing, and the fact that PlayStation 5s were selling out in China, I'm sure it woke up the shareholders at Microsoft, and they're like, wait a minute. Oh, y'all send the team down there? We send the team to China or no? Like, I'm sure they've spoken to Game Science and are at least tracking the progress on how close they are to getting an Xbox port. I mean, because that's a lot of money, and like I said, more importantly, that's a new market that you can get into, especially in Xbox's position where they honestly don't have a dominant market anymore. Because like I said, it used to be the United States, but now it's not even that. Like, PlayStation holds that now, so they don't have. So like, when you're losing in every market and a new market becomes available, you want to get on the ground floor. You want to be on there, like, oh man, we can't lose this market too, especially as big and as profitable as a market like China could, is when it comes to gaming. I think Microsoft would be stupid not to try to do something, try to work out some kind of deal to hurry up and get this game onto their platform. I mean, there's only so much they can do. They can't like force Game Science to make this game, but they can at least do something, like say, you know what, don't even worry about the Series S, or don't worry about trying to get a 60 on the Series S, or something like that along those lines, so that they can get this game onto their platform as quickly as possible. Or maybe kind of give them some money to put it in Game Pass to make it even more enticing for people, maybe like in China, who pick up a Series S and play it on Game Pass, something like that, some kind of deal or something to get this game on their platform so that they can grow it in that emerging market. But yeah, at the end of the day, PlayStation made the right call. They did the right thing, as they usually do when it comes to their business. People want to, shit on the PS5 port, and be like, oh man, it can't hold 60, or oh, it's this and that, it's ugly, it's blah 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 blah. Like, listen, it's obviously not going to be anywhere near somebody like a Nate who has like a 490. It's not going to be anywhere, as far as the fidelity and frames. Obviously, we all know the difference between,
Well, that goes for any
what it.
game almost.
Yeah, that's what that's
any
my
game that's
point.
pushing
Like,
it, yeah.
we all know the difference between, these high-end graphic card PCs and a console, right? We can only expect so much from a console. But at the end of the day, it's about being there first, though. Regardless of whether, like, most of the things that are not as good on the PS5 version, they can be patched. Like, you can fix frame rate, you can fix fidelity, you can get it optimized for your console. But I think the most important thing PlayStation wanted is just to be there day one, to be that other option for people who don't have a PC already. And that was the priority for them, and I think that was a smart choice. Regardless of what, Xbox dudes and other people want to say, like, oh, it ain't that pretty. Listen, they got it there because you can't play it on your other platform. So your platform doesn't have it. This one does. Like, it is what it is. Y'all can hate all you want, but PlayStation made sure to get that game onto their platform first. Just like they're gonna do with Phantom Blade when that comes out in 2026 or whatever, and that's looking immaculate. Gameplay looking fire. And that's gonna
I
be, I think,
remember when they first revealed that people called it fake gameplay. I remember.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be another game. I don't think it's gonna do Black Myth, Black Myth numbers. I think that was kind of, being, like Nate said, I think last week, just being like the first for something. That's that's really how it got those big numbers, and the fact that it looks so good. Unreal 5 and all that stuff. And I think Phantom Blade's Unreal 5 too, but I just think it's not going to be as big as something like Black Myth Wukong. I do think it'll be successful in its own right.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's just another.
Areas are smaller, so than Wukong, which is very gargantuan on purpose.
Yeah, and again, PlayStation will be on the ground floor for that too, for another impressive looking game from China, and that'll be what PS5 and PC day one. So it'll be good, and we'll see if Xbox follows suit and tries to get some games from China, to be exclusive to Xbox or Game Pass or whatever. But like I said, at the end of the day, this negative discourse around Black Myth Wukong is ridiculous. It's unnecessary. It's dividing, and like we've said, this is the type of thing, for people who don't want, politics in gaming. This is exactly what they're doing, bringing politics into gaming, and it's honestly ridiculous because we should be celebrating the fact that a game came out from this country that we haven't really been able to get games from in a long time, and it be successful, and it be that good looking. The fact that there's just so much going on in that game, and it not just be like a beautiful walking sim. I won't call out what game that was, but it's able to actually have the fidelity and the gameplay at the same time. I know that's kind of a foreign concept for some people, for some people, but it can it can use Unreal 5 and have great gameplay. But yeah. So shout out to Black Myth Wukong, shout out to Game Science. Please don't let some of these outlets and people from the West tamper your feelings for the West. A lot of us appreciate the game and appreciate what you brought to the gaming industry, and I personally can't wait to see what else you develop. Congratulations on your success, and I hope it continues. And I can't wait to see what other games and developers emerge from not only China, but like you guys been saying, you know, the Middle East, the India
Mm-hmm.
Hero Project, all that. I can't wait to see what all of these different cultures and you know and ethnicities and just what they can bring. The diversity is a great thing, and I want to see what they can all bring to the table. And you know, give me more games. You know, that's all. That's all I want. You know, more games, and the more people that can give them to me, and the more the more diverse the ideas, and you know, I think that leads to great creativity in such a creative field that gaming is, and it can only help push gaming forward when we add more diverse cultures into the gaming sphere. It's only a good thing, I think. So I
Mhm.
can't wait to see what more we get from these type of projects. So keep it up,
You know what's the
PlayStation.
good thing about this? The only thing, good thing,
What?
we've seen multiple developers celebrating Wukong.
Mhm.
We've seen multiple developers being happy for Wukong sales
Yeah.
and the numbers that's doing. Like for example, Palworld, PlayStation Dev, you name it,
Mhm.
they celebrated
Yeah.
their
Kojima.
success.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a lot of different developers have come together to celebrate Black Myth Wukong. You even you had Stellar Blades
Yeah,
developers celebrate it. We had the people making Phantom Blade
yeah,
celebrate it.
demo.
Yeah. So I mean, every all developers from around the world are celebrating and congratulating Game Science for their game. So I don't understand why. I mean, I do understand why. Like we've said, you know, these people want clicks. They love the controversy because that's what gets the traffic. So, but you know, we should be celebrating instead of dividing. At least that's what I think. But like I said, it's not going to hinder.
Absolutely.
It's not going to hamper me. It's not going to hinder the real gamers, not those fake gamers that like to rage online and pretend like they're actually gamers. But or you know, pretend like they actually care about uh diversity or care about you know, we care about representation. No, you don't. Shut up. You care about dividing and what's going to get you the most engagement on Twitter. Like it's it's stupid, but like I said, we gonna celebrate because the more diversity in gaming that we get, the better gaming is gonna be. So congrats, Game Science, and I can't wait to see what else you do.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. At the end of the day, it's about celebrating that accomplishment. You know, clearly, you know, gamers are not going to let journalists run us away from a good game, playing good games. And I mean, that's like I said originally earlier. The moral of the story is create a good game, and gamers will respond in kind,
Hmm.
regardless of the narrative that certain people want to push for whatever reason that is. Um, Omar, did you have
Yep.
anything else, lastly, that you wanted to add to this
No,
topic?
I gave my 2 cents along the way, but yeah, as Morgan said, celebrate it, support it if you want, and um, I'm actually looking forward to the Middle East side now,
Yeah,
because
same.
just how Wukong brought its own lore, you know the Middle East got its own lore,
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm
I think that's
so
more what I'm
excited
looking
about
forward
that.
to. You said about India, the Middle East, all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
lots of unique stories to be told there that have never been really told. Um, and you know that's more so the thing that I focus on is that you got to go to the source for a lot of things. That's a conversation that I've had with a lot of people about creating characters, and they ask why like certain characters have never been made, and it's like you know, some people I'm like, I don't think people realize how exhaustive game development has to be to create a
Hmm.
character that is going to resonate and also be accurate to a particular corner of the world or a particular nationality or so on and so forth. um, so yeah, I mean that's something for a topic later. So I don't want to go deep into it,
Yeah, no,
but
I got you on that end.
but
Yeah.
um but yeah, I mean there's a lot to it. And again, we just appreciate, like I said, Game Science and all the developers out there working hard to give us the amazing games that we get to play all the time. Making games is not easy. I feel like we have to say that more often, sadly, because I think some people forget that. Um, Most people haven't coded anything in their life, and if they had to, they would quickly have a much higher appreciation for the things that developers have to go through to get us the games that they do, especially the way that they do, and that the quality that they do. But yeah, going on to our next topic. I don't think I'm not sure how many of you guys caught it. I kind of gave you guys a highlight in the group chat just in case you really missed it. But recently we had a Nintendo Direct. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see anything in this, especially because it was a partner direct. But it actually turned out to be a pretty decent show. Like I swear, man, Nintendo can just make a decent show out of just about anything.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show. I was like,
It
man,
was fantastic, yeah.
I was like, oh man, I just walked away with so many games that I want to play
Exactly.
from that Nintendo Direct. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, no problem, Warren, man. Have a great night, man. But yeah,
Night War.
yeah, it's yeah, it's wild what they managed to achieve there. Like I said, I walked in expecting nothing, and came out with at least either good info or some really nice announcements. So yeah, I mean, we can just go ahead and move towards that. I don't know if you had anything off the top of your hand here, Morgan, if you already had an idea of games. I mean, there was a ton of games, but particularly, what were some highlights for you in the Nintendo Direct?
As far as the Nintendo Direct goes, I can't think of. It's like there's so many different games that I saw, and I think a couple of them were stuff that I already knew was coming, but got to see any again, and then it got me excited. Like the one new announcement that really got me was Coffee Talk Tokyo.
Absolutely.
If anybody knows me, I'm a recent member to Coffee Talk fandom. Shout out to Sanctus. She got me onto that. Played the first one, loved it, platted it. Played the second one, loved it, platted it. And now they've recently announced at the Nintendo Direct a Coffee Talk Tokyo. And I was like, oh my god, we're merging Coffee Talk with Japan now? Oh man, like two things I love. Let's go.
Right.
So I can't wait for that one. Looks great, looks just as good as the first two. Love the story in that, and there's definitely a cliffhanger at least going on with your character as far as who you actually are and your place in the story in Coffee Talk. So I'm interested to see where that goes with this next iteration. Kind of left me on a cliffhanger at the end of the second one. I didn't expect an announcement for a new one, but again, I'm a new fan to the series. So, I haven't been, waiting anxiously like a lot of the people who've been OG Coffee Talk fans. So just to see that announcement, it was pretty good. And then what else was there? I can't really there were so many games but that's really the first one that's really the one that's stuck to my brain mostly. I can't I feel like y'all will probably name stuff and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that one too. It was yeah.
I was about to ask you, are you interested in the Trails of the Sky remake?
That did look good.
Yeah, that was one that I thought you might pull up because I remember we were talking about it and how much of a surprise that was. But the fact that is the start of the series as a whole kind of gives you an entry point to be like, hey, if I'm interested, man, I get to come in fresh with this, this remake and really jump into the series, especially, your newfound love for JRPGs.
Exactly. Yeah, it did look good. And it's funny because I completely forgot that the Nintendo Direct was happening, but
yeah, same.
but then I saw Wario tweeting about it, and every game I was like, "Oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. Oh, damn, that looks good." Oh, you know, with Innate being a fan, I've been wanting to play the Suikoden 1 and 2 remasters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those look
And yeah,
good.
And we
that's
got a
another
release
game.
date.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, because it's so funny because he was just asking about where the hell that game was, like not even like 3 days before the direct.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
was.
hilarious that they announced it right at the direct. Uh, trying to think. Oh, the Sea of Stars DLC got announced. Yes.
Yeah,
As
that was good.
anybody knows, I am a huge Sea of Stars fan. Platted that game, loved it. Absolutely been waiting. I've been asking where the hell that DLC was ever since they said they were going to have a DLC, and they announced it. Fantastic. It's called like the Throes of the Watchmaker. So I'm wondering if we're going to be doing the mini game that was in there. Um, since that was the person who I think was in charge of the little mini games. So it's interesting. So that'll be coming. I don't know if they gave a date for that,
Yeah, I don't remember a
but
date for it in particular, but yeah.
just the fact that they announced that, I was like, yes, finally, the Sea of Stars DLC. So yes, I am excited for that. And then I think the Dragon Quest 3 got its gameplay trailer.
Yeah,
Like I said,
they
that's
showed
already
a
been
little
previously
more.
announced, but it looks good though. The gameplay and everything looks good. Um, Trying to think of anything else. Um, I saw a couple little top-down looking games that I thought looked really good, but I couldn't figure out if they were like exclusive to
The Nintendo
Nintendo
Switch.
or not. They probably are, but they had a nice amount of indies that looked interesting to me. I can't remember the names of them because unfortunately, me being me, I wasn't writing anything down as per usual. Um, but but I do remember the feeling after seeing all the tweets of um from what came from the direct that I
Mm-hmm.
walked away with like a good handful of games that looked very interesting to me. So, but those are the ones that I can remember right now. But
Okay.
yeah, oh, and the Capcom Fighting Collection too. Um, that was cool. I don't plan on playing that, but I do have fond memories because I did play it when it came out back in the day.
Yeah.
Fight back when those fighting games were peak. The Marvel vs. Capcom was peak. So
Have you
it was
played
nice to
Rival School?
see. You said what?
Have you ever played Rival School?
Driver's School?
Rival schools.
Rival
No.
School.
No.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
never mind then.
Yeah, that's kind of a niche one, so I didn't. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm done. That was it.
Okay. No, I mean that's not bad. And then like you said, there's even more that you wanted to that you were interested in as well. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you did not come away disappointed. Um,
Yep.
uh, Omar, was there anything that you got out of the Nintendo Direct that you really were excited about as well?
Dude, shout out to Kofi, Creative Kofi. I'm dying to start Trail of the Sky. My biggest issue is, with we're not even sure if it's exclusive, if it's timed, if it's whatever.
Yeah, Falcom won't
Um,
really say. They just said it's being considered for other platforms.
oh, they
Oh
released
yeah, yeah. That's the
information.
game that was exclusive to PS3, right?
So basically, this one was exclusive to PlayStation, and then went to Vita, and then went to Nintendo. So it's curious to see
Well,
which,
it's also on PC.
yeah, then PC.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm genuinely curious if Nintendo made a deal with them or what, cause it looks so good.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm definitely waiting to figure that out because, like I said, what I plan to purchase next on my Switch is very minimal, and I don't plan to purchase that on there. So,
Shoot, if I was a Switch owner, I don't know, because it's just like the way, especially with the way Nintendo does with their backwards compatibility, which is like
mm-hmm.
0.
0. Yeah.
It's like, do you want to invest in buying any more games if the next Switch isn't gonna, you're not gonna be able to play those games, or the next console, I should say, you're not gonna be able to play those games on there because the way Switch, they'll be like, nah, you can buy it again for 60 or 70 though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I know Morgan didn't mention it because I don't recall her playing it, but Tales of Graces F,
Yep.
like I
Yep.
played 1 and 2, but I would absolutely not mind go back and play the remaster again. Like
Yeah, that's the one where
Trail,
they said it's exclusive for now, right? And they're
wait,
wondering if it's coming to other platforms.
no, that was
No, that's the Trails game. The Trails game is
that
coming
Oh,
was
to Switch.
Trails of
gotcha.
the Sky. That was
Yeah.
the turn based. This was it's an action based, kind of like Tales. Uh, I forgot what the last one it is, but yeah, that is
Like
super
Tales of Arise.
exciting. Yeah, Tales of Arise. That is super exciting because from the look of it, it could be a multiple remaster. Because Tales of Graces F is multiple ones, not just one game. I think it's 2 or 3 games, Tales of Graces F. So it's excited to see if people gonna come through and support it and how they make m- more remastered. Another thing is the Trails of the Sky. Like that shit looked phenomenal. And as a huge turn-based fan, I'm so excited it's not even funny. Um, the card game, I'm like, who is asking for this? But I'm gonna let it
Are
slide,
you talking
cause
about Balatro?
yeah.
Balatro is one of the most successful indie games ever released. So
What?
yeah, yeah, I know. I do not understand it, so I don't expect you to understand it either. But Balatro is a massive, massive hit on PC. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
know
yeah,
I know Solitaire, but that's it.
yeah, yeah. Balatro is some like roguelike poker game or something. I don't under. It's not really something you
Okay.
can understand until you play it. And
Okay.
I'm not a poker person, so I didn't really
That
play it.
explain
But
it why I don't.
yeah,
Okay. This one, Morgan, you played Gris, right?
I'm pretty
I
sure
did
she
not.
didn't.
I own it, but I haven't played it yet. Like I bought
Okay.
it with the intention to play
Okay.
it, but it's on the backlog essentially.
So this one apparently is from the creator of Gris, called Neva. I'm so excited about this one. From the look of it, it's platformers and an indie platformer. Yeah, I can't wait. Other than that, a lot of indies
Yeah,
that I need to go back. Mostly make sure that it's either on PC or PlayStation, because I don't have a Switch. Um, but I just can't wait. And I heard that they released another trailer for the new Zelda game. So congrats on them to that. Oh yeah, Morgan, you gonna play Power Wash?
Oh, the DLC.
yeah. Power
Yeah.
Wash Shrek. I forgot that was even a
Oh
thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Get everybody get up on. We clean up Shrek's house, I guess. I love me some
So
Power Wash. That's the type of game you just decompress to.
It is.
uh,
The
so
Watchmaker DLC does look really good. It's on screen right now.
Hmm.
there is this game called Marcel's. Never heard of it, but it's looking real good. I'm curious um I think it comes over as roguelike, but is it going to PlayStation? That's a question.
Yeah, Nintendo
Oh,
knows how
so
to
it
hide it.
oh yeah, so it's PC, PS5, and Switch. So no Xbox. Well, Xbox people are not getting it. It's a roguelike. It's looking really good for me. I play games like this. Kind of remind me of Nobody Saves the World.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so tons of indies that I didn't check. But so if I would check them all, you know for a fact. Oh wait, Shovel Knight, a new Shovel Knight game.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
something with Shovel Knight, but I didn't remember what it was.
yeah, Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope, DX. I own Shovel Knight. I never played it, but I own it completely. But maybe it's a remake or something like that.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, like I said, I'm not. I've played them for like all of 5 minutes. So
Yo, Europa look good. That's a weird name for a game, but I'm sold.
yeah, there you go.
You seen it, Europa?
I mean, I've seen a lot of games. The Nintendo Direct was kind of long, so I mean, I can't
I
remember
had no
everything.
idea that long. But yeah, no, this it look good.
Well, it's not so much
What?
that it was longer than like the 2 hour show for like the Game Awards or whatever and stuff like that. The problem is like it was like game constantly. So it's like I can't remember. Like there's like 10,000 indie games in this thing.
Is there another game I'm interested in? Yeah, yeah, your biggest mistake was giving me this link. I'm gonna stop before I talk about every game that I'm looking
Yeah,
at. Yeah, no,
I've seen Europa. I pulled it up on the screen. I mean,
uh,
they only showed
ton,
it briefly, but yeah, it does look good.
a ton of indies. Like, here I'm gonna just share the link for the people that missed it. Cause this shit, the amount of indies and it comes with gameplay.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
there's a ton of stuff on the list.
I'm excited. Yeah. Thank you for the link. Go to the next person.
All
I'm
right,
gonna mute myself and look at all these games that I made.
yeah, Weeb. What were you excited for out of what was shown at the Nintendo Direct, sir?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, a lot of them have already been mentioned. Trials in the Sky, of course. Tales of Grace and Death, Neva. Tetris Forever also look interesting. So the collection for Tetris games. And Star Drive also looked kind of interesting. I think nobody mentioned that one before, but
Yeah, Star Drive
yeah,
did look interesting.
yep. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it was a pretty good show, and like I said, very densely packed with a lot of gameplay trailers.
Yeah, it definitely was. No, I get that. For me, obviously the Trails remake looked really good. Surprisingly, this is something that I just seen, Metal Slug Tactics. So I'm all about that. I'm not really a Metal Slug fan because it's like a side scroller, like shoot 'em up thing. But yeah, this is tactical. So I'm all about my tactics games. So yeah, this looks interesting and probably the first entry into something Metal Slug that I will partake in. So I'm not mad at that. Also, of course, they showed Plucky Squire, which I'll be playing on PlayStation via Plus.
Yeah, that's a day one.
Yeah, that game looked amazing as they've been showing it. I mean, they don't really need to show me no more. I'm day one. Um, then, of course, Suikoden 1 and 2 being announced for March 6th next year. I was hoping it would be sooner, but, I've got a lot to play in the meantime, so I'm also not really mad. A big get for them, from what I understand, is what's on screen now, Pizza Tower. Um, it's supposedly just like a ridiculously fun game. Again, not really, it doesn't really look like something I would play, but
It's a
honestly,
platform. It's
yeah.
a high-speed platformer.
Yeah, like it did numbers
Okay.
like when it came out. Like a lot of people really seem to be in love with it. So
What a good game is looking is Star Overdrive.
yeah,
You seen that
we
yet?
mentioned that. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, the where he's riding like this hoverboard or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the bigger, more higher quality showcases that they look like they pulled out. Um, I put it on screen here now, but yeah, that looked good as well. Again, man, there's so much stuff. I think they announced They got Goat Simulator 3 for them as well. Um, you said Trails in the Sky was shown really quickly. I'm surprised they're even getting anything for Stalker. That was weird. Stalker Legends. I don't know where they managed to find that. It looks like big for a lot of other people, not me in particular, but I know that Disney Dreamlight Valley game is really big for um, a lot of people that like to play those types of games. So Nintendo Switch, they can now play that as well. Um, yeah, the Capcom collection, like Morgan mentioned, a really good looking one to me was the new Atelier game that they were showing. Atelier Yumi was announced for it, and that actually looked really good. Again, I haven't. The Atelier series is a really specific type of, uh, really type of turn-based JRPG. So, um, again, when I finally get into the series, I really want to just go crazy with it. A lot like Viper did, where he played like every single one of them. Um, so I haven't really delved into them yet because, like, I mean, you're talking about like a 6 month commitment if you're really trying to play all that stuff. It's just exhaustive. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D again looked really good. Surprisingly, Civilization 7. That was a real big surprise for me. Not that I'm gonna play it on the Switch, but I was surprised they were even getting it. And the Tales of Grace's F remastered. I'm looking forward to that as well. Um, but yeah, I think that's mostly it. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma looked really good. The Rune Factory games, man, they just seem to keep leveling up. It'd be really nice to see what they could do on a more powerful platform. So yeah, shout out to the Switch 2 announcement, which hopefully will be the next thing Nintendo does from here. But yeah, so on to our next topic here.
You very quick. You seen Atelier Yumia?
I literally just said that. That was the
Okay, I
last
didn't
game I
hear
said.
you. I was watching it,
I literally
but yeah,
talked extensively about
I
the
heard you
game.
talking about the Room Factory, but that's about it.
Yeah, right before
Okay.
that, I was talking about
Okay.
how I want to play the entire Atelier series.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna do so myself. I
Yeah,
played one, and yeah, this franchise is long. You said it. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's move on.
absolutely. But yeah, on to Ubisoft with Star Wars Outlaws. Um, the few of us that are playing it here, we'll talk about our first impressions. Morgan did so a little bit in the beginning. Uh, they, however, as great as it is and as good as it's been, they also ran into some issues with some players, not all. As we mentioned, he was able to get the patch um, that prevented you from having a progression block in your way where you're unable to go back to a planet after you leave it. Um, I unfortunately did not for some reason. I don't understand. The issue was particular to PS5, which is again really weird. I really have no idea how this happened. I'm not gonna put it entirely on Ubisoft because I mean, PlayStation is in charge of delivering the actual patch to the game, so I'm assuming something weird happened with the way that it got triggered. Because like, how can some people have the patch that's available and some don't? Like the moment you start a game or update a game or anything on PlayStation, for those that are aware, you will get the update immediately. So for it to not load until the following day is kind of weird for some people. And then Weeb in particular got his game early, and he had the patch day one. So yeah, I don't really know what was going on with that. But yeah, I mean it does suck. Like some people said, they're not really sure what people expect them to do. I mean, obviously, I expect to get my money back. It does suck for, you know, people like me who paid for the early access. That is not entirely why I bought that edition. So at the same time, it's not, you know, I'm not really on that. I'm not freaking out about it. The game has been wonderful, so I'm not mad about that. Um, but yeah, I mean, the compensation was a little weak, but at the same time, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, I could nothing you could really see besides at least giving you like a $20 credit or something would probably be feasible for people who bought the Ultimate Edition the way that I did. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, like some
mhm.
120 or something dollar.
Yeah, it was 130 and then 110 if you bought the Gold Edition. So I bought the Ultimate Edition. So yeah, I mean that's all I could really see from that. Like I said, I'll just go first on it because, like I said, I mean I've personally first impressions. Like I said, I've personally been enjoying the game thoroughly. The game is beautiful. The Snowdrop engine has done a great job, really giving you a lively Star Wars world to explore. Like I spoke about earlier, the sense of speed on the speeder is phenomenal. When you are in the ship, again, that also feels really good. Everything about the game just feels really good. Like I said, I just think it's a slower pace than a lot of people were really predicting, but I mean it's in line with everything that I've seen from the game when they were showing it off. Being a little more meticulous, being specific in how you go about things, trying to manage your alliances with your factions and trying to be in either everybody's good graces or pissing one faction off and not another. Um, and the gameplay in all aspects feels pretty good. It's not the most fluid at times, I feel, animation wise. Sometimes but I feel like sometimes that's on purpose because at the same time, the character is meant to feel amateurish. She even states that in some cases where she's like, "Oh man, like I know I was doing something bad, but I didn't anticipate getting caught," or funny stuff like that. But like I said, I'm enjoying the game. It sucks for Ubisoft uh, to have a massive bug like that show up or issue where their day one patch essentially didn't go out to some people but did to others. But again, like I said, I don't understand the issue there. What exactly happened? It's just it sucks from a consumer standpoint, absolutely. But I think we've all either restarted the game and moved on and did what we had to do to play it. And uh, from what I understand, we're all still enjoying it. Um, Morgan.
Question, how is the stealth? Cause I've seen some stealth gameplay that actually spooky. How you're literally in front of the enemy and he don't see you.
Yeah, I'll let Morgan answer that because she's further than me.
Mm,
Because as far as I know, she's really enjoying it. So
I'm not having any issues with stealth.
okay.
Yeah, it can be a little wonky sometimes, but I mean, for the majority of my gameplay, it's fine.
Mm,
Um, I don't have any major issues to point out that are negative
gotcha.
about the stealth.
Okay, thank you.
cool.
Hmm.
All right, Morgan. Impressions and obviously issues with the patch. How you feeling? What's the vibe? What's the vibe check?
Sorry, I'm literally playing right now.
All right. Oh, I know.
I'm like in the middle of a firefight. I don't know if y'all heard my Dulcine's going off, but yeah, impression so far. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy picking and choosing who I'm gonna portray today. You know, sometimes sometimes I'll be cool with the Crimson Dawn. I'll do something for them, and then I'll piss them off because then I sided with the Pikes, and then maybe the next day I'll decide to be cool with the Huts. Like it's just I enjoy the back and forth and the fact that I have no loyalty to anyone but myself in this game, to be honest. As it should be as an outlaw, because you're only you can't really trust anyone in the business because everybody's using everybody in this
Absolutely.
game, to further their own goals. So I'm gonna do the damn same. Um, so yeah, like I just took a mission for the Pikes, but then I decided to betray them for the Crimson Dawn, so it's hilarious. Um, because they offered me more money. But
There you go.
yeah, I'm enjoying the game thus far. It's a solid 8 out of 10. Taking my time with it, like I said. I'm in space now, but I haven't really left the first major planet that we go to. I just kind of go from that planet to the spaceport essentially, and I just been kind of doing, like I said, contracts and side missions and stuff like that. Trying to get my money up and reputation up with certain factions. Like I said, that I deem fit that day. Yeah, I'm really just trying to like get things to like upgrade like my blaster and my ship, my bike and stuff like that before I move on because I'm just having fun, outlaw and like doing doing these kind of gigs and things like that and basically succeeding in these missions by barely essentially. Like, I like that, the adrenaline rush, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't really have any too major complaints about the game. Like, sure, the story could be like a little stronger. But I mean, I like Kay. I like her character. I like Nyx. Um, I can't really say like I said much about the story because I'm still in like the first half of it because like I said, I haven't really left and done any of the main. Like I've only done like a few of the main quests
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm doing side stuff, so I can't really say too much about the story because I don't know, I don't really know where it's gonna go. But I enjoy the main character that I'm playing. I enjoy the worlds that this game has built. I'm just overall enjoying it. Yeah, it kind of sucked about the PS5 situation. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it personally affected me. I just started over just in case. I wasn't that far ahead anyway. I only played at that point for like 3 or 4 hours, so it wasn't too bad because I was just mostly doing side stuff, like I said. So it was annoying, but it didn't tamper my emotions or my feelings towards the game really.
Okay.
So I started over and been playing it ever since. Yeah, like I know I really like a game when when I'm done playing it or I'm done for the day and
And you
I'm still
can't
thinking
wait to play it.
about how I want to play it again.
Yep. Yep.
So that's how I'm feeling about it. I'm enjoying it. Like I absolutely understand other people's opinions about this game. Them just being like, it's not for me. I don't really like it. It's not doing it. Like I get that. I think this is kind of a game that you either like or you don't. It's just that cut and dry with it. Um,
How is the main
but
character? Does it have personality?
I just said I
She
like the
just
character
said that.
K.
Yeah,
Omar, you
but
don't be listening to me when I talk.
no, I heard them talking about the gameplay and stuff like that, and how
Uh-huh. And
you're your own
did you hear me when
outlaw.
I say I enjoy the main character K and I
No,
enjoy
but
Nyx?
I don't know her name, but okay.
Yes, I said I enjoy the main character. I like the character that I play. I like
Mm,
Nyx. I like their dynamic. I like
mm,
she reminds me her personality reminds me of me. Just like kind of sarcastic, doing what you got
mm,
to do, whatever. You know, just trying to get by essentially. Um,
mm-hmm. Gotcha.
but yeah, I overall am enjoying Star Wars Outlaws. I wouldn't recommend like I'd recommend holding off if you're still on the fence because with Ubisoft games they go on sale pretty damn quick. And I'm sure by, Black Friday's right around the corner. You could probably pick it
Mm-hmm.
up for like 35, $40. So if you're on the
Absolutely.
fence, wait. Um, you know, because this game uh, for me, it's worth the price. But like I said, for others, it may not be. So you can just wait because by then it'll have a lot of the like their performance and stuff will probably be a lot better. Like it's not bad. Like I'm playing where on console they have 3 modes. It like if your TV is VRR compatible, it'll have 3 modes. But if not, you only have 2. But I have a VR compatible TV, so there's a performance, there's a quality, and then there's 40 FPS mode. I'm playing on the 40 FPS mode. It runs very well. I don't really see any major hitches. Like it runs smooth to me. The quality is pretty good. Like there's definitely some hiccups as far as like the fidelity goes, but it's still a beautiful game. You can tell like the Snow engine or whatever really outdid itself with this on this game. Beautiful game, and some of the set pieces are crazy. Like riding around on your speeder at night when you see like the planets in the distance and stuff. It's insane how beautiful this game is. It doesn't have like the best facial animations, but I don't really put too much stock in that type of thing. Like especially when I'm really enjoying a game, I don't care. Like it's fine for me. But okay, I'm ranting. But the game's good. I'm enjoying it. Pick it up if you are a big Star Wars fan. If you want that type of game to be immersed into the Star Wars universe, I think it does a very good job giving you that feel of being that Han Solo-esque character. Um, and let me know if you enjoy it. So,
No doubt. Agreed. That all sounds about my feeling for it as well. Weeb, I know you said you haven't gotten to play it as much as you wanted to, but and I know you didn't run into the patch. I mean, that's not gonna really be a hindrance for you in particular. But what's your vibe and how you're feeling about the game so far as well?
Yeah, I agree with Morgan. I'm enjoying it thoroughly so far. Yeah, it's definitely slower paced than yeah, something like Jedi Survivor. But yeah, I mean it's not pretending to be a game, so that's uh, it's not entirely fair to compare that with that. Um, but yeah, I mean I do like it. Like I said, the only thing that really frustrates me is the lock picking
the lockpicking. Yeah.
God,
Yes.
I hate it so much. I'm pretty much just brute forcing my way through it. So just hitting the yeah, locking the lock, whatever it's called, and then just trying with pure luck getting through it. It generally doesn't matter. It can be a bit hairy when you're doing it while you're sneaking around, and you really just want to make sure you get it before a guard spots you. Um, but yeah, otherwise, it certainly has certain choices. Like your weapon basically, you have infinite ammo, but sort of it overheats, right, if you use it too much.
Mhm.
Uh, and you're at least so far, your only weapon really is your blaster, and yeah, sure you can use melee attacks, and you have grenades, but you can pick up weapons, but like you can't really keep them. So
Mhm.
yeah, you can pick up sniper rifles and assault rifles and stuff like that. Um, and for some reason, but I read that I think today somewhere that apparently they made a conscious choice that you can't use your blaster while you're on your bike.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, wait a minute, why can't I shoot these men while
Yeah,
I'm speeding away?
yeah, because as I figure like is this something like am I doing it wrong, or is it an upgrade or whatever?
Mhm.
But apparently you can do it because they didn't want you to do it, even though your enemies can do it. So it's kind of okay. It's a choice, I guess. But yeah, I mean, overall, like also like Ane said, like it's really cool, speeding through the environment, and as you said, Morgan, it absolutely has some gorgeous set pieces. Like, yeah, I mean, graphically, obviously, they're definitely better looking games, but it you know shows art direction can go a long way in making a game look great.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm also not that far ahead yet, but I totally get you sort of the enjoyment you're getting from screwing over and switching sides and stuff. Like like I have like with the first thing when I was approached by the Crimson Dawn, like they immediately like blackmail you, and this is and then you have like a choice. Can do you give the information that you picked up that there is a traitor with the pikes to them, or
Mhm.
do you give it to the pike? I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna give it to the pike.
Facts. Facts.
And then the pike leaders still pretty much dick to me. I'm like, okay, next time, like I was like there was a mission where I was approached by a Imperial officer, and he was on the take, and he had some information for the Pikes. I'm like some intel he got from the Crimson Dawn. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna give this to the Crimson Dawn now because you were a dick to me. And I figure that's kind of sort of how I'm gonna play this. The only thing I do have to check, if there's a trophy guide already, just to be sure that I'm not gonna screw myself over with switching sides. Like, is it possible to get like everything max in one go, or is you have to make choices? I figure it probably is. I think you probably can just max out one and then go to the other one while you lower the reputation with the other faction. But I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I mean it's like a typical Ubisoft game. It's open world, and you're immediately distracted by, oh yeah, there's a treasure here, so I'm gonna check it out. There's a side mission here. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like I said, if you're a Star Wars fan, absolutely recommend it. Plus, you could get to pet pretty much every animal you come across, which is also a very cool feature. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. So definitely gonna try to stick to this as much as I can until Astrobot drops pretty soon. So maybe I'll have to drop it, pause it for that. But other than that, yeah, definitely worth playing. To be fair, to respect to the issue, yeah, I get that the patch release is not necessarily Ubisoft's thing, but it's pretty amateur hour in my opinion that you are unable to make the patch compatible with an earlier save of the game.
I
like,
do agree.
Like, how hard can that be?
You weren't pleased with the 100 credits, the Ubisoft credits that you got for having to start over? Like that's not enough for you, weeb.
I haven't started over because I did download the patch right away because I checked it, like the patch was dated in the day I started playing the game, and I remember downloading a patch and didn't get any other updates, and so I think I'm good. I'll find out once I leave the planet, I guess. If that's the case, I'm probably gonna put the game away for a while because I'm gonna be too mad about it. But I think I'm good. But it's pretty pretty stupid. The idea that you can't go back to an earlier save if you had that before you got the patch. Like that should not be a thing. That should be they should have been able to fix that. Like, I don't understand why that's a thing.
Yeah, that was a very interesting problem. Like I mean, maybe because that's never happened to a game that I purchased before, but I was like very new to that. I was like, wait, what? Especially when you intentionally order a game or you get it and you get early access, but then to be like, oh well, we know y'all had early access and y'all been playing all those hours, but those don't count. You're gonna have to start over.
Yep.
Like, that is insane. I'm like, like, and then the compensation for that seems kind of low. Like, oh, okay, well here's 100 Ubisoft credits and a little like, thing that you can hang up on your speeder. Like, here you go. That should suffice, right? It's all good, right?
Here's a trinket.
Here's a trinket and 100 Ubisoft credits, like, that you can use to buy an outfit.
Yeah, that was
like,
so crazy. Not only you're screwed because you're day one adopter, you also wasted time.
Yeah. It's it definitely was interesting. They definitely Ubisoft that whole situation.
Yeah, they did.
But now I'm looking at that Assassin's Creed pre-order like, like,
I'm still day one. I'm not waiting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm too big of an Assassin's Creed fan.
I better get my freaking steelbook this time, man. Like, I got
ordered really in advance this time.
I ordered the game from a particular retailer because they were the ones that had the Star Wars Outlaws steelbooks, and I got my game, but I didn't get my freaking steelbook. And then when I talked to customer service about it, they were like, we don't see a steelbook in the offer. And the funny thing is, now the store doesn't have the steelbook there because I think the steelbook was part of like a pre-order incentive. Like if you pre-ordered, you got the steelbook. So obviously pre-orders are done. So the steelbook offer isn't even on the page and on their website anymore. So it's just like,
damn, so you're screwed.
I was just like, oh, okay. So I don't get my steelbook. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, okay.
Well, just don't forget to take it back.
Oh yeah, I'm taking it back. I got the receipt. I'm taking this shit.
Yeah,
I'm taking this game right on back. They think I'm playing.
Yeah,
I still got my receipt, and it's still in the cover.
What's the point of pre-ordering if you're not gonna get a steelbook?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I pre-ordered from the same exact store because they're also, I think they're the only store that has the at least here have the steelbook for the Assassin's Creed. So I'm like, I better get my freaking steelbook for that freaking game, I swear. But yeah, I'm getting my $100 right on back. They think I'm playing.
There you go. But yeah, that's what's up. So now you have an idea, Omar. I know you haven't played it, but you understand the impact better, at least on us. I know some people said that they were like 17 hours plus into the game, and I was like, man, I hate it for you. So
yeah, some people were going ham.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, but how they were 17 hours if the patch or if the thing that wouldn't allow them was the ship.
When you leave the planet.
Yeah, because I feel like at that point you would have been like, wait a minute, I can't go any further, so you'd have to stop.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, but I was just like, I guess I wasn't sure what.
Who knows, man?
Doing. But yeah, you never know what people are doing when they're playing these games these days. But yeah, let's see. Real quick, this will be the last thing. I'll save the other thing that I created for later. But Karaba had brought up that Remedy and Annapurna announced a joint deal to fund Control 2. I know that was exciting for you, Morgan, because you are a big fan of the original Control. You got me to play it.
Bro, I cannot wait for Control 2.
Just pick the fucking map.
That's
yeah.
Man. I think that's one of my favorite games from Remedy is Control. So the Control 2 coming, I'm so freaking excited. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm glad they found a deal for it.
The maze in Control is such an amazing experience that you gotta.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah. Like when it opened up, like that was so cool. It almost paid off for the shitty map that it had.
I mean, maybe because I played the Ultimate Edition, I didn't play, and I didn't play it until the Ultimate Edition or whatever came to PS Plus. Maybe that's why, because I know they fixed the map, like it was worse in the original edition, and maybe that's why I never really had issues with the map when I played it.
I've only played the Ultimate Edition, so I still hate the map.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I never really, and it was not an issue for me. But it might just be a preference thing. I don't know, but yeah, fair, I'm sure they'll fix it though, because a lot of people did have complaints about it. I'm sure that's gonna be a definite priority for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair to the map, the only time it was really a major issue is when I had to go up and down, like the core areas of the map that are meant to show you, like, and it's like three or four levels or something. So it kind of the problem was the way the map overlaid on top of each other, so you kind of didn't really understand where you were, and that was really my issue. And that's what kind of kept me getting lost. But like, when you're really, it's one of those games where you're like we talk about when you're really in it, for some games, and you can really, I guess, get lost in it and really get dialed in. then that won't happen as much because you will, you'll kind of have an idea of where everything is. So,
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
a lot of the issues, um, you know, come about because the fact that you have to revisit a lot of areas in
Yeah,
Control,
you do.
like
Yeah.
a lot. So, you know, in a game like that, a mini map is really important, so that you don't get lost and confused going back to the same place over and over again. And I think just doing that, and the level design of, or the simple fact that a lot of the environment in Control switches around a lot, just because that's part of the story. Like a lot of this, like using like different realities, and you're going to this, that you go into this floor, which is a different reality from that floor, and then that floor. I think that adds to the confusion when it comes to the mini map. So I definitely get people's frustration with that mini map, but I know that's going to be a priority for them. Like, all right,
I
we
hope.
gotta not.
And the guns. Give us more guns.
Oh man, but I mean, her one gun could be so many different things, though.
Yeah, but most of them not that
Oh.
powerful.
Omar never is satisfied with the amount of
Hey,
weapons in a game. I
Yeah.
hey!
swear, this man needs
I always,
78
I
different
always
weapons.
want an upgrade. Hey,
This man,
you can
Omar, man, he
control.
needs he
Also,
needs
did
28
you
guns, 58 swords, and
did you
then
play the demo, the DLC for Control?
yeah,
Well, yeah, she had the
That's the
Ultimate
one
Edition, so.
thing that I didn't get to play because I played it on my laptop back then, and I own it on PlayStation because of PS Plus that I yet to get to it. The
yeah,
only thing that I wanted to play is the DLC, but not gonna lie, the story is confusing as hell. Mostly because I never played Alan Wake back then.
I mean, I didn't really play Alan Wake either. So, I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, like it eventually starts to. It is confusing to a point, but as I started to get further, I had less and less issue understanding it. So, I mean, that wasn't really an issue for me once I got further.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Because apparently it played in the same universe as Alan Wake.
Yeah, I mean they
yeah. I mean,
reference stuff,
all
but
of
yeah,
them are pretty much connected except for Quantum Break. Like they made that
Yeah.
a point that they're all in the same universe, because she talks about Alan, and there's this situation going on in his town. Like she references that. I mean, it's all in the same universe, so I mean that's why all these weird things keep happening everywhere.
yep,
By the way, the thing about this that's so cool is it's not just the game. They're thinking expanding it, making a series out of it, and maybe a movie.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna make. I mean, it makes sense because I mean a lot of what they do is like, I mean, with the high production value and the cutscenes, I mean it's pretty much damn near a movie half the time, or
I
a
was gonna
show
say it's basically is
half the
one.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, or it's a playable TV show essentially. I mean, that's kind of how they frame it anyway. So it makes sense that they would actually make a show out of it.
yep. But yeah, shout out to them. I mean, it sounds exciting. Uh, I know we spoke on it a bit. Is it something you're looking forward to as well? We
Um. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I enjoyed Control. So sure, if they're gonna make a sequel, I'll check it out.
okay,
And yeah, Alan Wake, like like I said in the chat, like saves me from playing the first game if they're gonna make a TV show or movie out of it.
absolutely
Uh, just hope that they're casting the actors from the games because well they're pretty much already actors, some of them pretty well known, so that's just
agreed.
just a given.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's any more unless Karaba wanted to add anything else.
No, we talk about the atrocious map and the cover story, but for the rest, the maze, amazing.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I enjoyed. Like I said, I enjoyed my time with it. Um, I mean, I still need to finish Control. I was pretty close to the end. Um, when I got sidetracked with something else. But
So you're
after
gonna be so
then,
lost now going back to it.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but I'll get through it. Um, I mean, I remember the story. The story's not the problem. Like the problem is walking around. Like that's the part that's confusing. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean, that's our show for today. We're gonna go ahead and stop it right there. Make it a nice, concise show. We got to talk about quite a few different things. I think we kind of got out there what we really wanted to. We'll have a really interesting topic for next week that I came up with in conjunction with some people from another show. But we'll talk about that then and really get into the appreciation and love for gaming and what it takes to really make games. So look forward to it. Um, Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get into our outros. We've let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome. And yeah, great show. Always enjoy talking to you guys. And yeah, Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
All right. Karaba, where can the people find you?
Auto donation it is. As always, shout out to everyone that came through. Great show, great conversation. Support Wukong, support all the games that we talked about. And yeah, you can find me on Caravan Shop on Twitter. Is Twitter gonna stay being Twitter? With the whole Brazil thing, I would not be surprised if Elon Musk just give up on Twitter.
Yeah,
But that's a conversation for another day. Yeah, also you can find me at Vitamin G Podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you next week. And also play your games.
absolutely. Morgan, the infamous, famous queen of the podcast.
Oh
Where
man.
can the people
Wow.
find you?
Oh man.
I'm the
Um
queen.
yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I'm giving her shit because everybody always messages me about how excited they are about Morgan's takes.
Oh man. Anyway, um the fall essentially, well, now it's about to be the Super Bowl of gaming because it's now fall, and that's when we're gonna get a plethora of games. Like I know all of us in here have like a list of at least like 10 plus games that we're gonna be playing in the next, I mean, just 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about to begin. It's about to get crazy. We're about to be talking about a lot of games next, you know, these next few podcasts. It's gonna be insane. Like
Astrobot, yeah?
you said what? Oh yeah, Astrobot's
Astrobot.
coming. Oh man, game of the year. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be
Yeah.
freaking amazing.
Yep.
The trailer, the launch trailer release, I didn't watch a lot of it, a little bit, because you to Twitter. Yeah, this is looking mighty. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
it's looking freaking fantastic. I know all of us in here are excited to get in there and play it. Can't wait. Um,
I mean, we
so many
all
more.
pre-ordered the controller, right? So yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
almost everybody in here. So it's just like, yeah, we're excited for that game. We're excited for so many other games that are going to be coming out. Like the rest of 2024 is looking packed. So I hope everybody in the chat's ready and they have their list ready and they're getting ready to complete a bunch of games. Hopefully everybody's looking forward to a bunch of games come out this fall. I'm excited to see what everybody wants to play, but yeah, let's huddle down, let's focus, let's get these games done, and hopefully not push them into a backlog. Um, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Auto
Otter
donation it
Nation.
is.
Yeah, shout out to Kay, uh, who's
Shout out to Kay.
working out there.
And Nelson. And
Yeah,
Viper.
our Otter Nation mama, uh, working them working them streets on that truck, working hard. Shout out to her. She's gonna get to also enjoy Astrobot on the road.
Yeah.
I have yet to pre-order it, but I will here shortly because I'm probably gonna get it digitally. Um, but we'll see. I know Morgan mentioned a poster and some other stuff um, coming from one of the retailers. So yeah, looking forward to that. Like I said, I've already got Space Marine 2 pre-ordered, and I get the early edition of that. Like they said, so many games. Like Morgan said, the Super Bowl time of gaming. It's just the onslaught is not gonna stop, um, and I'm here for it. You know, like I said, my goal right now is to just focus on completing some of these games so I can make space for some of these other games, but not rushing them, completing them, enjoying them, because that's the important part. And yeah, Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Later.
Peace.
Validation.